hustling is a mentality. The hustler is going to outwork everybody in the room. Hustlers are just wired different.
Okay. So there's a situation where your wife's sister was married or was dating at the time another guy who was a druggie.
He was an organized crime criminal, but he was a drug dealer and a drug user. Yeah.
Okay, so
and 30 years older than him.
30 years older. So let's talk about what happened with that situation.
That guy's lucky he didn't get killed in '96. He had a case with Freddie. Freddie wanted to kill him. We tried. He got away. Somebody that was involved with the murder would have got recognized, and we had to call the murder off. Louis Santos. So 2001, Freddie comes out of prison. There was a hijacking truck case he had with him. So they both come out of prison in '01. My wife's sister at that time was going through some bad times. She was partying with that ecstasy or back then, or whatever that drug was.
Right.
And she was a little wild, like all young kids are, and maybe doing some coke. He comes around and he ends up dating her. My wife's family's in an uproar. She's on drugs. This guy's giving to her. He's 30 years older. They want me to get involved. I get involved.
Are you close with the sister-in-law?
When I say close, I grew up around my wife with her. At one time, me and my wife were separated, and she was like, we ended up hooking up for like a
wow.
Yeah, but it was a one-time hookup. She
Okay.
wanted, I was separated from my wife. She wanted me to get back to her. We were in a nightclub. She was on drugs. She's whispering in my ear, and we hooked up.
Okay.
But it was a nothing. It was a stupid thing that we weren't
Got it.
happy about.
Right.
But yeah, as far as being family, I was with my wife the whole time. Of course, I want her to be,
Right,
like
you
I'm
want
close
everything
with
to be
the
good.
family. The mother and father are coming to me and begging me to get involved, not kill him, but what do they think a guy like me is going to do, to a guy like that?
Right.
So I talked to the guy twice and said, back off. He said he would. He doesn't. I see him again. They're busting my balls. I go see him again. I pull up. This time I'm in my car. There's a listening device. Fed's got a listening device in my car. So it's on tape, and I'm telling him, stop dating with the girl. Go find another girl. He said he would. So my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they owned a sausage, Italian deli like, and they had the best sausage there was around. And I go in there, and my father-in-law's flipping out. He's supposed to have respect for you and this and that. He doesn't listen to you, and he's like making it seem like the guy's like disrespected me and everything.
Right.
And I took it like that, so I had my friend Michael come, and we're gonna kill him that night. He got lucky. He got into a car that I thought was parked somewhere else. Freddie I told have him set him up. Got in the car with him. If I shot in the car because I was gonna shoot him, I would have had to shoot through he had a Porsche. I would have had to shoot in the car, and I probably would have hit Freddie. We had to call it off.
Okay.
Then my mother-in-law goes on and welcomes the guy into the family. Like, not welcomes, but was okay with it. They went on a dinner, and they were okay with it. So I called that off. And then about a year later, I don't know how long, 6 months, we find out he's an informant. And he's a guy I wouldn't want around me. He was too close.
Right.
I'm married. I got kids. I don't want a guy like, now he's going to he married my wife's sister.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't want him around me. He's a thief. He's a grimy type of a guy, but he's too close for me, and I don't want that. But still, we find out he's an informant, and that's when we put the wheels in motion to kill him.
And how did that go down?
I had Freddie and Ty. I had a drug house. I had holes there. I already had a hole there, dug to put somebody in there.
What do you get? Basically a cemetery?
You could have. That house was perfect.
Okay.
Could have killed 100 people there and not get caught. That house was like off the road. There was the electric company was next to it. There was no company, it was just all those electric things. There was nothing, abandoned house. I mean, and nobody knew there was. If you were driving on the street, you looked up, you wouldn't even know there was a house there. And it was a backyard, like you could have fit 100 bodies.
So you had a hole specific for him, built for him?
It wasn't specifically for him yet. It was a hole for anybody.
Okay.
In the process that was going to go in the hole.
Gotcha. So you guys always were prepared for getting rid of people. Okay. And then
actually, the hole was dug. Bruno had me dig the hole because he was going to kill Felix, another mate guy in our Western Mass. He was going to kill him. So we dug the hole originally for this mate guy, Felix Trevizy, under Bruno's orders.
How far do you dig? How do you know?
Deep. It was me, Freddie, and another mate guy, Emilio Fusco, that did it. we could fit. Freddie's a big guy, Emilio's a big guy, and you could fit 2 guys in it at once shoveling. And when they went in there, it was like 2 feet over their head, and Freddie's like 6 feet. It was like it was a deep hole.
Okay. So how did you go?
And the funny thing about it is, I wanted to kill Emilio. He wanted to kill me. I wanted to kill him, and me and Freddie were talking. I go, what a perfect
2 for 1.
Right now, like, we could kill him right now, and you know what I'm saying?
Save some work.
Oh my God! But no, we ended up getting along though. That's why he was there when we murdered Gary. So, and he was also in another murder plot. So it wasn't. We ended up patching things up.
So if I'm not mistaken, you catch the guy. You got done playing a card game, right?
Who
is the boyfriend or the?
No, we lured. I had them tell him. So the house that was there was my stash house. I kept my marijuana there. I had AK-47s, grenades. It was like.
Were you using grenades back then?
No, but we had them.
Okay.
You know, we had access. I had AK-47s. It was just a place where I kept everything, including the marijuana. And the guy that lived there was Old Man Joe, I called him. Oldest, probably marijuana dealer to live, right? And his daughter dated this guy, Dickie, who was the guy that was going into dealing with the Juarez cartel.
Okay.
And crazy lunatic of a guy, great man though, you know, ex-military and just, you know, a nut job. And so that was that house. So I tell Freddie and Ty to tell my brother-in-law that he's going to bring him there to rob the house. There's a house that has drugs and money in it, and that's right up Gary's alley.
Oh,
my
yeah,
brother-in-law's
okay.
alley. And that's what they did. And so I go and I go pick up Emilio. He's a maid guy. I'm not even, I am maid at this point, but Emilio's a maid. Emilio got made before me by the old bosses in the Springfield faction.
Okay.
He's an immigrant from Italy. And so I go to him, and he's having a drink with a girl in a nice restaurant in a suburb of Springfield. And I call him aside. I said, hey, we're going to go kill that Gary. You want to come? And he said, yeah. He goes, let me finish my drink. Yeah. So we had this guy, Tony Vitrano, who was just he was like the funniest guy I ever hung around with. I used to have him drive around me all day to laugh. He had all the degenerate gambler, had all the, you know, talk broken English. He drives us over to my house. We get out and we walk across the street and we get into the garage, and now we're waiting for Freddie and Ty to bring my brother-in-law.
What happens? He shows up.
We hear the lights. We see the lights come up, and then the car parks. We hear the door shut, and then you can hear footsteps because we're in a little garage here, and then the house is here, and so when the car parks here, they're gonna walk around this way, and we could hear footsteps. But then you hear him going a little quicker, and I hear go ouch, ouch, like ouch, and Ty's behind him.
So how do you explain that to your sister-in-law? Did she suspect you did this?
Well, we end up killing him and we throw him in the hole. So he dies. And right away they knew who did it. Law enforcement knew, like, the minute he didn't come home, he was dead.
The law enforcement knew you did it?
Yeah, because don't forget, he was an informant. We got word that he was an informant. He was an informant. So when my wife's sister said he didn't come home, she knew right away who was he with, and it was my guys, and who are my guys with me, and they knew that this guy was dead. And so she was calling my wife and asking her, you know.
Wow, what a nightmare.
I heard her talking in the other room, well, maybe he didn't come home, maybe he's this, maybe that, you know. And then my wife comes and asks me, Gary didn't come home last night. I hope you didn't do anything to him. But meanwhile, her mother and father were begging me for months to,
handle it.
Handle it.
Did you ever tell your wife?
Never. My wife didn't know anything I did. I would never.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't tell a soul. Like, I wouldn't tell another human. I wouldn't tell
Hustling is a mentality.
So he just never shows up
the
again.
hustler is going to outwork everybody in the room. Hustlers are just wired differently.